Welcome to an episode of You Haven't Read What? I'm Krista.
And I'm Christina. Join us to explore unique genres, childhood favorites, and literary classics as we dive into each other's favorite reads.
Where one of us is very familiar with the book, the other is reading for the very first time. Let's go. Well, hello.
Hello. How are you?
Tired.
Yeah.
Tired. I was supposed to go skiing today, but things got wonky up on the mountain, so we didn't go.
Yeah.
And so I promised thing one that we would go do other fun
else.
stuff.
Yeah.
Which resulted in, we had a great day. We went to the library.
Ooh.
And of course, little brother had to tag along. She was a
Yeah.
little bit disappointed by it, but she got over it.
Yeah.
And so went to the library, had a lot of fun at the library, got some new books.
Woohoo.
Then went to REI, got skis waxed, which by the way, if you're an REI member, they do that for free.
That's cool.
I learned that. Thank you, Seth. Got my skis waxed, or my board waxed, and Tim's skis waxed. And then, she and I worked on Legos. The little dude napped and restarted the first Harry Potter movie.
Yep.
And she divulged, I put this in our friends chat, but she has reread the first book now probably 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
And so she told me tonight, she was like, yeah, or I guess this afternoon, she was like, yeah, I'm almost done with it again. And then I'll start over again. But I always skip the boring parts. I just started platform 9 and 3/4.
Like, okay, I'm just gonna completely pass up the first part.
She's like, everything else is boring. I was like, you are my child.
That's so funny.
Because it is such a slow start to a book.
Yeah, it is.
I was cracking up. So, but we're almost done with the second book. So then she'll have 2 books to be able. She gets the one that I write
Yep.
in. So I don't care about those. She doesn't get the fancy one. She just gets the nice one that I write in.
Yep.
For this. And so she already has it, but she's not reading it on her own yet. But yeah, just her I skipped the first 4 chapters because they suck. I was like, oh, you've learned.
That's so funny because
I've never been more proud.
For me, I struggle with rereading my books and stuff. And maybe it's just because when I start rereading, I already kind of can remember what's going on or whatever. So maybe I should look into trying that. Just skip over a couple of chapters here and there. See if that works.
It's not bad. But then when little dude woke up, we went to Air City.
Woo-hoo.
I was like, we can do 90 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah.
My knees are not made for 90 minutes anymore.
Yeah.
It's like womp womp.
Yeah, I don't do any of the jumping. I just am like, okay, I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to stand here. I'll follow you around if I need to. But other than that, I get dizzy. So,
interesting. Yeah, I rolled at one point and I got dizzy and I was like, whoop, shouldn't have done that.
Well, I think that's part of whatever's going on with me medically, just because I just, I can't even go on a swing without getting dizzy.
Have you seen those the kid swings, I'll call it a mommy or daddy and me?
Oh, where the double swing
together?
Yep.
I get so motion sick on those. Having the thing right in front of you that doesn't move while everything else is. Oh,
right.
I saw that. I was like, this is so cute. And I put her oldest in it when she was,
little,
18 months old or something like that. And I started, I was like, whoa, this is a bad idea.
Not doing that again.
Off the swing.
Let's go try something else now.
I'm going to go sit while you do that so I don't puke.
Right. Exactly. But anyways.
Anyway, about what we're reading tonight. My knees don't have to work for me to sit here and talk.
I know, right?
Thank goodness.
But we are, if you're on YouTube today, that we're kind of blending into the background. I noticed as we sat down and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
It's a thing.
But for me, I wear a lot of grays, greens, blues. And so I was like, if I pick a color that is not in my wardrobe for the background, I don't know that I'd have something except some bright, obnoxious color. So
that's funny.
Whatever.
Wear my Lally sweatshirt.
Yes, the puppy.
My pupper.
Are you ready to dive into 10 and 11 chapters? 10 and 11. This one's kind of a cool set of chapters.
It's awesome. So 10 and 11 tonight we're going to talk about the Marauders map and the Firebolt. So my quick summary for chapter 10 is Lupin is back. The twins have a gift. And Harry learns the story about Black.
Yeah. I have my own opinion on that.
We'll get to that.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
water.
knocking my
waxed.
water bottles and everything today. So
It's
you
all
know.
good.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I'm so excited for this chapter. I brought some
Yes.
fun stuff tonight. Again, if you're on YouTube, come join us on YouTube. You can see us.
Yeah, I know, right? You can see our faces.
But I have it's a little washed out. Let's see if I can do this. Let me turn it so you can see it. Ha-ha. My Marauders map. It's a Tervis
Yeah.
mug. That is awesome. And it does keep stuff really warm. There's just water in it tonight.
Yeah.
It's not warm water. And then, since it's, again, snowing and freaking cold outside, I also have my blanket.
Which our friend Brittany and Seth have this mapped blanket as well, which I have seen multiple times at their house. I never put two and two together because it's just not something that I would have thought. Though I kind of wish it had some of like the secret passages with like some
Right.
random like names. So like Dumbledore like in one of the towers and like Harry Potter in one of the
Down
like
below.
in a weird spot or yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool.
So this is the fold. You can see how it's got the line down the middle.
Yep.
So this is the front of the map that has the names on it. And I'm going to
Right.
put it on my lap because I am cold today.
I know.
And I will scoot back up to the mic. Sorry, everyone. There we go. But yeah, it's a great quality.
Yeah.
The blanket's a little scratchy. I usually like softer stuff.
Okay.
But
I mean, it's weaved. It's
yes, woven.
woven. Yeah.
It's
And
just it's a scratchier thread
yeah,
instead of super soft.
I like that the backside is more of a green and blue than
Yeah.
just the red on the front. That's kind of cool too.
It's like the inverse colors almost,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun.
My grandmother, my adopted dad's, so my dad, his mom used to weave rugs
Ooh,
and she'd gift
nice.
them to everybody. And so we had a million of them in our house. But like they weren't as thin as this blanket would be weaved.
Right.
But so they were like a little bit thicker or whatever, you know, the like hand. But she had that big loom. And I remember going into her house all the time and like she'd just be sitting there like putting the loom in between or the material in between the string. And then she'd grab a hold of like this really big stick and pull it towards her like really, really hard. So that everything like all of
Compressed.
everything compressed and whatnot. And I always remember just like looking at it and going, how does this thing work? But yeah, it reminds me of that.
It's cool. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. And I love the map in general. But anyway,
Yeah.
first I'm going to start and I'm going to say this like if you've seen Shrek. I was like, not the Nimbus 2000. Not the gumdrop buttons.
Right.
That's so sad. This is Nimbus 2000 in a box.
It is sad, though I can understand and I can sympathize with why he decided to keep it and
Yeah.
why he wouldn't let Madame Pomfrey get rid of it.
No.
I mean, you can't
No.
blame him. It was literally one of the very first actual gifts he has ever really
Yeah.
received
Yeah.
as a person. And so at that point, you're just kind of like, don't get rid of it. It's okay. Like, maybe you can magic it back together or something.
Well, it's also one of the first, actually, if not like the first real gift he ever received, but it's also a gift. It's the first time he ever realized he was good at something, and
Right.
he had self-worth. Which is
Yeah.
so sad to say at 11 years old.
Or I mean, at least he felt like he had self-worth. He had
He had
something
that was
to really,
his.
yep. He had
'Cause
something to
not
look
everyone
forward
was
to.
good at Quidditch right off the bat, and he
Right.
was. Whereas everyone else understood magic, and he's like, I have no idea what's going on. There's
Right.
houses. What's Hogwarts? I don't know.
Right.
And so this is the one thing that was his.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the Whomping Willow.
Yeah.
Womp, 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 womp.
But you can't blame the Whomping Willow. I mean, it's been hit by a car and a bunch of other things. And later on, you learn about other kids and stuff just messing with it. Like, you can't blame the
Can't blame
dang
it.
thing for wanting to protect its space.
But it got schwacked by a piece of wood. Why did it hurt another piece of wood?
That
Like
is true.
Self,
That is true.
like, oh man, what's that? Carnivore. No.
A carnivore?
No.
Yeah.
No. What's that?
Herbivore?
No.
I mean, I can start saying dinosaur names if you'd like.
That would not help.
Omnivore?
No, when like people eat people.
Yeah, carnivore.
No.
Oh.
Cannibalism.
Oh, yes. That one.
We'll get there. Starts with a C. But But it's like it took out a wooden stick, so it's kind of a cannibal.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it didn't eat it, but yes, it did kind of
destroyed it.
Yeah.
Wood chipper.
But yeah, can't blame him for wanting to keep it. And I mean,
I put it in a little like shadow box or something. Keep it.
probably.
Turn an urn.
Well, and then there's poor Wood. Like, he tries so hard to like, but he's just like, it's not your fault. I am now a robot. Like,
He's reading from a script.
I know.
My fellow Gryffindors, I believe that. Right. Reading from a teleprompter.
But like, you can't blame him. He's upset.
He's
but at the
allowed
same,
to be.
he is. Yep, you're allowed to have your emotions and your feelings and all of that. But like at the same time, like I think everybody's starting to realize something's going on with Harry, and in all reality, this game should not have just been won. I really think it needs to be redone, but whatever. Can't make the author go back how many years at this point and rewrite that. So
Just a couple.
Whatever.
So yeah. But we do get confirmation that he's hearing his mom.
It's not necessarily confirmation. It's what he thinks to be true. So he thinks to be true that he is hearing his mom talking to Voldemort, and
Final
Voldemort
words.
is the one laughing. So we don't for sure know that it's true because he doesn't technically know what his mom's voice sounds like. He doesn't necessarily totally know what Voldemort's voice sounds like. So while we can...
He kind of knows Voldemort's voice.
Does he?
He's talked to him twice now.
Yeah, but he's talked to him through Quirrell. And he's talked
but
to...
through his own head.
Oh, yes. Okay. I understand that then, yeah.
And then second, yeah, I mean, teenage memory riddle. But still,
Right.
it'd be kind of a somewhat similar voice.
It would make sense that this is exactly what he thinks, but we don't necessarily fully know 100% that this is what he's hearing.
Okay, it's what he's hearing. All right.
Krista just wants to tell me this is what he's hearing. Just stamp it and be done.
I think so. Harry thinks so. It's his
And
mom.
I think so too, but I'm just saying we don't know for a
You've gotten
fact.
so hesitant.
No, right?
I've made you a doubter.
Everything is just like so read between the lines. Like I'm even doing that with a bunch of my other books, dude. I read like I listen to so many murder mystery books. There is specific two authors that I absolutely love. I talk about them quite a bit. But like I have literally been going through the different books as I'm listening and I'm working and I'm doing other stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's definitely not that person. Nope. Okay. No, it can't be that. No, she's thinking of something else. Like I am literally self-doubting other books now too.
Oh no.
So yes.
I'm so sorry.
So now I'm like,
ruined
okay, who done it?
Who done it? All right. So Ron, good throw in potions.
Oh, true. Yep.
But he doesn't get detention for that.
Well,
He gets detention for kind of back talking, and now he chucks something at another student, nails him in the face.
I mean,
and doesn't get detention for that.
well, he backtalks to Snape, and technically Snape doesn't see the chuck of the heart of whatever
Slimy
into
heart across the room.
yeah into Malfoy's face. Besides, Malfoy totally deserved it anyways. So
Not disagreeing with that. Just of all the things he's gotten detention for, it's
true.
not that.
I mean, and Malfoy doesn't even say anything. Like that was also kind of surprising because I'm surprised he didn't just like start tattletelling, or whatever. But it just kind of like is over so quickly, and at least Ron's not like trying to like go and hit him or something. So
He's not throwing punches yet. No. But yeah. No, I was like, really?
yeah, I mean, Snape probably has to draw a line somewhere.
Somebody would start to question if he gave detention one too many times.
Right.
I just read the word Hogwarts, so I was like, bleh.
I mean, he does take away points, so
Yeah, well, that happens a lot.
yeah, exactly. Lots of points.
And the other thing we do get confirmation on is Dumbledore isn't keeping the Dementors out of the castle. He's keeping them off of Hogwarts grounds.
Yes.
So that's why they shouldn't have been at the Quidditch match.
Which we already kind of knew that. However, like they still come. And I wonder
And
if they're
Dumbledore loses
not.
his shit.
I know, right? Like everybody's like, this is the maddest we've ever seen him. But my question is, were they there because they sensed the Grim? Or were they there because of Harry? Because if they were there because of Harry, they'd had the whole game to come out and play and mess with them and play with them. But the Grim shows, and then Harry sees the Dementors, and then he falls. So,
Or is it like what Lupin said, that they're getting hungry and it was a feast?
yeah. I mean,
It could be any of the above.
yeah. And I think the other part with that, though, is like, if they are so hungry for this kind of like for the soul crushing whatever, when they're at Azkaban, how are they feasting when all of these people are technically mental at that point and they're like gone? They like, you read throughout the 2 chapters about how the Dementors basically suck everything out of you until you are nothing left.
You have nothing but depressing memories.
Right. And like, and most people aren't even verbal and they don't even think, like, they're not even themselves anymore. They're just a shell. So like, what are they feasting on after that? So to me, the feast part doesn't totally make sense because of that. Like, there's only so much like people at Azkaban can give, and then there's no more. So where are they getting the hungry whatever from?
Yeah. I mean, you would fight it for a good while of continually trying to bring up the good memories and then just getting re-sucked out. And then you've got new people coming, fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
Fresh memories.
Right.
Fresh happiness. Like you had Hagrid for, a week.
Right.
So it's like, ha-ha!
Well, and my question too about the Dementors is like, I don't know that they're actually after the rest of the people and the, like you are saying, like the happy memories and everything from these people that are on the grounds at Hogwarts at the Quidditch game. But I wonder if they're trying to, like, one of the reasons why they're so involved with Harry specifically is that they're trying to figure out the Voldemort piece of him, because they're bringing up the memory, or at least we're hypothetically saying that they're bringing up the memory of the mom and how Voldemort is there trying to kill Lily and Peter and James. So are the Dementors actually there trying to bring up the Voldemort part and like banish Voldemort from his mind?
No.
Or are they like...
So what the Dementors do is take any ounce of happiness from you and force you to basically relive your worst memory.
So the worst memory for Harry at that point is when his mom is being murdered by Voldemort.
Yeah. And Dementors live, like feast, eat, like...
Off the happy.
They thrive. There's where I'm trying to come up with. They thrive off of the happy memory. So, I mean, in theory, if that's what they were going after, having all of those people in the stadium in one spot really would have fed them really well.
Really?
For a bit.
Yeah.
When they've been, shunned to the outer edges of the grounds, and there's really not a lot there.
Right. And I guess, too, that, like...
centaurs.
Because this is Harry's point of view, I guess we're kind of seeing that from the Dementors are focused on Harry, but not necessarily.
They just affect him differently.
Okay.
Yeah. They're hitting everybody.
Okay.
He's the only one who passes out.
Okay.
And has issues with it.
Right. And we don't know why necessarily this is happening.
Yeah.
Lupin I think Lupin like has an idea of why, and he's just not quite saying why. but it does definitely affect Harry more than most other people. And I wonder if that's because of the Voldemort part of him in his body. If
I like it.
If the Dementors are like trying to take the good part of Harry away and keep the bad part. I don't know. But yeah.
Voldemort 2.0.
Right. So Snape's not in class, right? And Hermione is PO'd that she did her homework for Snape.
Oh.
The 2 pages of parchment.
About werewolves.
Yeah. And Lupin's just like, really, guys, like, you don't have to do it. And Hermione's angry. She already did it.
On.
And he's just like, didn't you tell him that we haven't gotten there? And like,
yeah,
what is going on with Lupin though? Like,
let's keep reading.
Bad Christina.
Let's keep
Bad
going.
question.
Let's keep going. Well, we're about to get a whole lot more information, mostly in the next chapter. But let's keep going. It's kind of cute that Ron and Hermione stay for Christmas.
I totally dig that too.
That's cute.
It's very nice.
I like
of
Ron's
them.
excuse of I need a break from Percy. I'm like, I don't blame you, but it's cute.
But they are fighting constantly. Those 2, Ron and Hermione.
Well, their animals are fighting.
Well, it's not just that, but like something's up with Hermione. Like she is just not the same as the first 2 books. It's like, and I don't like blaming things on women's hormones, but it feels like a hormonal episode in a way where she's just like, she's biting off people's heads and she's just like trying to make excuses for certain things or whatever. And it's just, or she's being super secretive. And I just don't understand like what is going on. And then her and Ron just cannot seem to see eye to eye at all through this book so far.
Besides on Harry.
Except, well, and even then part of it is kind of like, well, they don't exactly know exactly how to help him either.
Yeah. No, they don't know how to help him, but stuff like, we're going to go to Hogsmeade and get goodies for you. And we're both going to stay for holiday break. And we're both going to blah, blah, blah. They're kind of on the same page with like, something has to be done. We got to try to help. But I mean, their pets are killing each other. You're right. Something's up with Hermione and I'm going to go wait for it. But yeah, you got a lot of teenage emotions flying around.
For sure. I mean,
which is rough. 13,
14 and all of that. And then on top of it, just all of the crazy that Harry's dealing with doesn't help. It just doesn't help. And I get it. But I think, so I wrote a question about this because I'm curious of your thoughts. So obviously Hermione is a Muggle-born. And they all live in the UK where boarding school is normal. How would you feel if your kid wrote you and was like, hey, I'm not coming home for Christmas because I've got either, I mean, she could have used the same excuse. She had things to study on or whatever. She's helping a friend or whatever. Like, while boarding school is a normal thing over there, not everybody goes to boarding school either.
Right.
So like just the aspect, especially for Hermione, like she wasn't already at a boarding school before. So just kind of not seeing your kid for almost an entire year.
You don't know if she was at boarding school. You don't know what type of school she was. But yeah, fair point. Continue. Sorry.
So how would you feel like if like thing 1 or even thing 2 when he's older, like how would you feel about that? Like not seeing your kid for basically an entire year at that point.
Yeah. I mean,
9 months.
9 months. Yeah. I don't know. It would suck.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it would suck. Like you said, we also don't do boarding school. So that's a hard, like, I can't help but like jump to college, but that's a totally different age. By then you're an adult and I would want them to come home, but I'd also have that like, you're an adult. You have to make your own choices. And if that's staying, what's best for you, then so be it. Like I can't say anything. Yeah.
Well, and it seems to be more normal for Ron to just stay at school because
he's also the 6th kid.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
They don't care.
it's one of those, like, I don't know how I would feel if Water just didn't want to come home,
At
like from school or
14
whatever.
years old.
Right. Like, I probably would be like, okay, call me every day. Like, make sure that you're checking in or whatever. Like,
Rate me an owl.
right. Exactly.
Send an owl. The neighbors are asking questions.
Right.
Pick a different owl next week. Please don't use Hedwig. She stands out a lot.
Oh my God. Could you imagine Crookshanks in his little tinsel paper? Exactly. Oh man. But yeah, I just was like thinking about it and I was like, okay, boarding school is more normal over there. And while that may be a more normal thing, it seems kind of odd still for me to like wrap my head around, like just choosing not to go home. Mm-hmm. Especially at that age.
Mm-hmm. It'd be hard.
Yeah.
It's also a totally different world. As I'm trying to picture Hermione going home, like, that's got to be weird.
Yeah.
Like, she's kind of talking to her parents and, like, they get it, but they don't.
Right.
And then she can't explain to anybody else.
Right. Well, and even
It's
with
gotta
her
be
parents, it's not like she can show them because she's not allowed to use magic outside of
It's
school.
got to be kind of isolating,
Yeah.
which would kind of suck.
Yeah. Which is probably why she would choose to stay at that point
Yeah.
rather than to go home. But anyways.
It's also like 2 weeks. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. But I still was just curious because, like, it's just one of those things that we don't experience here.
Right.
Like,
not until college.
I would really love to have schools go all year round here,
Truth.
but you still see your kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's a difference.
Don't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But-
weird.
So Fred and George trying to explain the Marauder
Their dramatics
map.
is amazing.
Young, carefree, and innocent.
I underscored innocent.
I mean, more innocent than we are now. I just was laughing so hard. I was like, are you kidding me?
I love their theatrics so
Yeah.
much. Said LOL, the drama.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very.
Harry snorted. He doubted whether Fred and George had ever been innocent. Truth. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially since we learned later that one of them gave Ron that acid. Fred gave Ron the
Burned
acid.
a hole in his tongue. Yeah. I mean, he also turned his teddy bear into a spider. They are not innocent. Mm-hmm. Is an interesting note in that this is, again, Harry being a decent human being, is that George says, we reckon Filch never figured out how it worked. Probably suspected or he wouldn't have confiscated it. He's a squib.
Yeah.
He can't work it.
Well, does everybody know that he is a squib
And
is the question.
That's where I say Harry's a decent person because he didn't go outside of Ron and Hermione.
Yep.
And Ron and Hermione didn't go spreading this either. Obviously, Ron never ran and told the twins.
Right.
Because that is embarrassing. That
Yeah.
is personal. That is yikes.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The fact that the twins don't know is cool to me.
And we're assuming, again, that they don't actually know because nobody explicitly says, like, to anybody. But in one of the previous chapters, you know, Ron and Hermione and Harry talk about him being a squib and whatnot. But at the same time, like, I think people suspect, like, you know, but at the same
Either
time,
Squib or a Muggle or whatever that was
right.
friends with Hagrid or friends with Hagrid. Goodness, friends with Dumbledore or something.
Yeah.
like a Hagrid situation of like people
Right.
don't ask questions about.
Yep.
Not everyone knows why Hagrid got expelled. Like that's
Right.
just not something we talk about.
Yeah.
It's Dumbledore hired him and you don't ask questions. So
Yeah.
a lot of people probably assume it's the same that he's like a Muggle or something.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I do think that's really cool that that they don't necessarily fully, or at least we suspect that they don't know. But the inscription of the map, the 4 founders of the map, or the creators of the map,
Misters Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, purveyors of aids to the magical mischief makers, are proud to present the Marauders map.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like that. It's really cool. And the fact that it's almost like it's been handed down like over and over. It's just kind of cool. And that somebody actually thought like, hey, we should do this.
And then somebody found all of these entrances.
Right.
Because they're like, yeah, the Whomping Willow's been placed over one. Another one had some cave in. Another one, Filch knows about, well, a few now.
Or they suspect that Filch knows about 4 of them.
Yeah.
But what I thought interesting about the map, or that inscription specifically, is that there's 4 founders of Hogwarts. There's 4 creators of this map. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, there's more like this at that point. So it's just, now that you got me going on numbers.
There are a lot of 4s, you're right.
So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But
do you have any guesses who that could be? The 4 people?
No.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I have, so is it the next chapter is Hogsmeade? No, it's this one.
It's this one.
So it could be Potter, James, and Sirius Black.
Could be 2 of them.
Yep. And then
Who knows?
I don't know about the other 2. Do we find out later who made it? Okay, cool. But it's one of those like mischief. It's fun. And not only that, but fun. Are we sure that this is all of the tunnels in the castle?
That's a good
There
question.
could be more or whatever.
Dun.
Yeah.
Again, I plead the 5th.
I know, right?
Got a long time to wait on that burn. Sorry.
And the fact that it
burn.
actually like brings and puts Harry on it, and it was like,
as soon as he starts
and
moving,
then it shows him how to tap it and what's to say, like with the little bubble. I'm just like, oh, that's cool.
It's like when George, Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prong sighs George, patting the heading in the map. We owe them so much. Like,
right.
So it's so funny.
Well, and the first thing that I wrote after like they started talking about even going or giving him the map for Christmas is Harry's off to Hogsmeade.
Oh, he goes off to Hogsmeade so fast. We're going to come back to this. He doesn't bring a cloak. He doesn't bring a scarf. He doesn't bring the invisibility cloak. He brings nothing and freezes his butt off and ends up under a table.
Well,
dude needs to plan ahead.
He does say that he sweats like his top half, but his feet are frozen. So, I mean,
he's cold.
Yep.
Dude doesn't plan ahead. We have a nice callback to Mr. Weasley's thing in book 2.
Yes. The brain.
You got really excited about that one.
If you can't see the brain or where the brain is, then you should probably
see where
not,
the brain is kept for something that thinks for itself.
Yep. Then you should probably not trust it. And I like that he pauses, even though he's so excited and he wants to do this thing. He still takes a step back and he pauses and he thinks and he goes, is this something I should be doing? Hold on, Mr. Weasley. And then he goes, yep, we're going. Okay, let's go do this. This is a total 13-year-old thing to do too. Because I just was like, yep, that's exactly what I probably would have done too.
I would have gone back for the invisibility cloak and then I would have gone.
And see, I might have if I knew there was no possible way that I would get stopped by somebody like Filch, or if
you care, you're going back to your dorm. You're doing what Filch wants you to do. Go back to your dorm.
Yeah, but you're still like coming back down to the statue again and stuff like that, and
go straight to the dorm, get the invisibility cloak, put it on, and then go.
Probably, yeah.
Not that hard. Come on, Harry.
Obviously, for 13-year-old boys, it is.
That's literally my next note. Harry didn't think to go back for a jacket or, I don't know, the cloak.
No.
Oh, anyway. All right. So now he scares Ron and Hermione. I want to know if Ron's eating the jelly slugs.
Right?
I was like, oh, Ron's favorite?
Yep.
Probably not.
Well, and the only thing I could think about when he got into, so he comes out through the tunnel and into the little cellar, and then he talks about how he looks back and he sees the guy bent over and a bald head. The only thing I could think of was plumber's crack.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then he goes and he like is literally standing behind Ron and Hermione. And he goes, no, I don't think he'd like that.
Scares bejesus out of both of them.
I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But Hermione and then how'd you get here? You should get rid of the map. Like, I'm sorry, but it's too much of a goody two shoes.
Yeah. It's also that you think there's somebody out trying to murder you, maybe going around hidden tunnels and going in places you're really not supposed to.
Again,
it's probably not a great idea.
13-year-old boy who wants to experience something all of his friends and everybody else at school gets to.
I would have sent his butt back for the invisibility cloak and said, then come and join us. Ugh. So anyway, butterbeer? Yes, please.
Is it a bar that they're in?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. And is butterbeer actually alcoholic? No. Okay.
No.
Cool.
It's delicious.
Okay.
We're going to try to make some for the next movie.
Really curious for that. I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah. But then you do get all the bar drinks to a small gilly water for McGonagall, four pints of mulled mead for Hagrid,
Yep.
a cherry syrup soda with ice and an umbrella for Flitwick, which is cute.
Yeah.
And then a red currant rum for the minister. And I was like, I'll have one of each, please.
They do sound yummy.
Except for gilly water. That one sounds weird.
I bet you it's a gin like and
I don't
cucumber-y
like
style.
gins. Yeah, that's the only one I'm like,
That's one of Bob's favorite summer drinks is cucumber and gin.
I can't stand gin. Grass clippings.
I think it's Swiss Sprite, so it's a little bit sweeter.
Grass clippings. Hate gin. Okay, so nobody likes the Dementors. Poor McGonagall. How are we supposed to teach with those horrors floating around? Like, well, yeah, okay. Fair. Even Fudge is a little uncomfortable with them.
Yeah. But here's my issue with this whole setup. Okay, first off, how did no one see the tree move? Okay. How did no one see it?
They pre-gamed somewhere else.
And then once the tree does move, why is Harry still under the table?
Better safe than sorry,
I guess. And then on top of it, why are they even having this huge conversation with some barmaid?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's a friend.
Okay, still.
If she's been at 3 broomsticks for a
million years. Okay, we got that. But
so they've known her since they were kids at Hogwarts, maybe.
It's still a conversation that's it's like gossiping. Like, this is classic Gossip Girl right here.
Well, they're filling her in, and they're also filling in Hagrid. He's also the other one that doesn't really know what's going on.
But does he need to? Because you would think that if he needed to, Dumbledore would have told him.
I only say yes, and which is why I think Dumbledore's okay with it, because I think Dumbledore knows if Harry's going to go sneaking off somewhere, as he does in the next chapter.
Dumbledore totally already knows everything.
He's going to go
anyways.
to Hagrid's. So if Hagrid understands the severity of what's going on, he'll send his butt back to the castle.
Maybe.
He does, in fairness.
He doesn't in this chapter, he doesn't.
No.
In the previous ones, he does.
That's right. It's the previous one he did.
Yeah. So to me, I don't understand why the gossip in the middle of a bar with some rando who's not totally part of the story.
Yeah.
Just having a conversation this type of magnitude with somebody that I feel like should be like CIA, basically, the head of magic ministry. Like, shouldn't he be a little more hush hush and not telling all these people his secrets?
Are they really? Whose secrets are they, though?
I mean, it like the whole story of how Black like took his wand and was laughing and all this stuff. Like,
that's all public knowledge.
They talk about how like how much worse it actually was. Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't necessarily say it, but he does glean to like everybody that like it's a lot worse than anybody actually knows. Uh-huh. So in a lot of ways, he knows more than he's saying, but he's also telling everybody he knows more than he's saying. Like,
yeah.
How dumb. Like, if this was a murder mystery book, that person would be getting knocked off. Like, because nobody wants their secrets told. So, like,
But the secrets that are being told, nobody's alive for,
except for Sirius Black.
supposedly.
Right. like they're hunting this guy. And so, like, there's a
They're
lot
not really
to it.
his secrets, though. If
And-
Black was...
And how could you have this conversation fully knowing that there are still kids from Hogwarts running around this town at this time? Like, it's not just...
That's also a weird who knows, because the Weasleys know a bit, a decent amount. Somehow Malfoy knows everything.
Well, supposedly.
Okay, Malfoy
He
knows a
hasn't
lot
said
more.
anything, but
Well, he has said I would go hunting him.
if I were you. But he could just be knowing whatever's in the stuff, like that they killed, or he helped. He knows, like everybody else knows, that he was on Voldemort's side.
Not necessarily he's the one, but somehow Malfoy knows Black is the one who deceived his parents.
But Malfoy's never said that.
Yeah, he did. Not explicitly, but Malfoy said, if I were you and not knowing what he did, I'd be out of school going after him. Malfoy knows.
So we're again assuming that
There's-
Malfoy
why
knows
Why
more.
else would Malfoy insinuate that? There's literally no other reason. He
didn't
knows.
read into that though.
He
I
knows.
never read into that he knows that Black is the one that betrayed them. Because what he says is basically just like, if I were you, I'd be going after him because he obviously is a horrible person that hurt you somehow. So
That hurt you somehow.
but he doesn't. But he could just be making things up too.
No.
I don't know.
No. He said that with way too much confidence.
Okay.
No. Malfoy knows. The Weasleys know something.
Yeah.
Dumbledore knows. Minister of Magic knows. McGonagall knows. Hager knows pieces.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a whole lot of secrets here. Like, all of the adults who are alive during that time and
Yeah.
were young adults, like Harry's parents, all seem to have
To be in some sort of
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
So the minister is simply just saying, okay, I'm taking the pieces that Hager knows. I'm taking the pieces that Dumbledore knows. I'm taking
Yeah.
the pieces that McGonagall knows. I'm just going to put you all together, since also it's you three protecting this damn kid.
Well, Dumbledore's not at the table, is he?
Sorry, you're right. Flitwick.
But yeah.
Yeah, you've got Flitwick, McGonagall. Shoot. I just
Hagrid.
read all their names. Yeah,
And-
Hagrid and the minister.
And then
Eventually Madam Rosmerta? Rosmerta?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So yeah. And I think like it just, to me, it seems like bad choice of
They
where
should
they're
not
having
be sitting
this
in the bar
conversation.
having this conversation. No,
Right.
100% not. But it's also a noisy bar. They don't know that there's a secretive tree eavesdropping on this.
True, I guess. Which I still don't understand how they did not watch the tree fall over. Like,
She just shifted it.
oh, she just moved it over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just shifted
I
it to
thought
be
it
in front of
fell
the table.
over.
No.
So I was like, how
like
did they
tick,
not
tick,
watch
tick, tick,
this
tick, tick.
tree just like fall over right in front of their table?
Shimmied over a couple of feet.
Okay. That makes more sense.
But we do get some confirmations here. They all know he was at Hogwarts.
Yep.
We know he and James were buddy-buddy.
Well, they were not just buddy-buddy. They were best friends
Best
and mischiefs together.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, and they
Yeah.
even say how Fred and George are basically like the same mischiefy style. So
Your husband's amazing. Sorry.
I know.
Just came in with goodies. Yeah, and their little gang, which also they were the leaders of their little gang. So you know that there's other kids around involved. But
and we know that the guy that was exploded,
Pettigrew.
was not necessarily in the gang, but he wasn't necessarily out
close.
of it either. He almost reminds me of Colin. Like
Yeah, I can see
Colin and maybe like Neville. Like Neville's kind of on the
Kinda Neville-y.
outside.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's not cool.
But I was like, okay, so the plot is thickening. How would, like, I have so many questions. How did the Potters know that Voldemort was after them? who was actually part of Voldemort's inside person thing. Was it actually Black or was it not? I don't completely think Black was the traitor, but then you also find out that Pettigrew knew that Black was the secret keeper as well. So more than obviously just James and Black and Sirius knew that Sirius Black was the secret keeper. So like, obviously Dumbledore had asked to like be this thing. And so it's just kind of like other people knew. So maybe it really wasn't Black. And if that's the case, then what actually happened in the street? And the guy blowing up in the crater and all of these people dying and stuff. And like, who actually was the one helping Voldemort?
Whose finger did they find?
Right. Because maybe it's not even Pettigrew. Like maybe it's somebody else. I don't know.
Voldemort's pinky.
Right.
Black turned on him. Took off his pinky.
There's so many more questions now because like we're getting the telephone style gossip. Not everything that Harry is listening to is completely true. It just can't be because that's how that kind of stuff works. And so it's kind of like what parts are true, what parts aren't. And now you've got this 13-year-old boy who is literally boiling over in rage. And he has no idea what to do with that rage.
Also, good callback to the bike in book 1. We know where Hagrid got his bike from now.
Yep, and how Hagrid got there.
It's Black's bike.
Yep, and
he presumably still has stored behind a pumpkin.
Probably.
Who knows?
But it's just
Buckbeak
like
stole it.
All of these different things are starting to fall into place. Like Sirius Black showed up, tried to take Harry in, and now Hagrid's like, I thought something was fishy. Well, no, you didn't. Like, you obviously knew that you had to take him to Dumbledore because that's what Dumbledore told you to do. But other than that, like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like everybody's jumping onto this train of Sirius Black is this evil person. But yeah, at the same time...
To sound like Inside Out, the train of thought is moving too fast.
I know. There's so many more questions. And I'm just...
Well, you gotta wait. I was just looking. Well, there's good news and there's bad news. There's 7 more chapters until you get your answer.
Well, and then I was like, that's definitely a story. Like, that is a story. And the biggest conflict is Harry now not feeling like he can trust anybody. Because not a single person that has been in his life that has tried to talk to him, help him, whatever, has been completely truthful with him. So this is the part of the Voldemort that's in his body that's going to come out to play because he's going to be like, ooh, look at all of these things. Like, these people are being evil towards you because they're not telling you the truth. They're not telling you these things. And it makes me just cringe because Harry's not a bad guy, bad kid. And I'm hoping that the rage that he is feeling right now and the unsuredness and the fact that his friends are trying to help him, like at the beginning of this next chapter, like they're trying to help him and everything, but I feel like it's just all going to come and it's going to explode and it's going to be a very interesting explosion. I just don't know what's going to happen.
It's going to be a very interesting explosion.
Like in real life, an actual explosion. Look at us.
All right. Are we going to blow through chapter 11 in 10 minutes or are we going to push this to next week?
No, we can do it. It was a lot shorter of a chapter.
It's a much shorter chapter.
And my Kindle literally said 56 minutes for chapter 10.
Yeah.
Chapter 11 was 39 minutes, which is why I told you, I was like, don't drive very fast.
Okay. So my 2-second summary, there's lots to unpack. They visit Hagrid. And I said, new broom, who dis?
Right. Okay. So my things are just how everybody's trying, like Ron and Hermione are trying to be logical and supportive, but they're also being a little too emotional with trying to help him figure out all of his things.
They're trying to be supportive without listening very well.
Right.
They're being more active than reactive, than like listening to what he needs. They're jumping in like, we know how to make you feel better, instead of like, let's sit down and talk, and why don't you tell us what you're feeling and how we can
They're
help.
not allowing him to speak as much. They're trying to dictate how he should feel.
Yeah.
And that is not helping with him right now.
So he gets all pissy.
Yep. We're at Christmas again. So does this officially make all of these movies a Christmas, or even these books, Christmas books? Because we always constantly have Christmas in here.
Well, I mean, it's a school year. So yeah.
Okay. So I just was kind of like, okay, so Hagrid wasn't fired. Woohoo! However, now he has to go and defend
Buckbeak.
Buckbeak.
Buckbeak. That's cute. I'm gonna name our next dog that.
And
Buckbeak.
I think that oh my gosh, I cannot talk. Ron and Hermione are gonna and Harry are gonna totally help him figure out a way to keep Buckbeak from being no more.
Yes, for being euthanized.
But poor Hagrid, he's completely a mess. He gets to be elated for not getting fired.
Yeah, right.
But then nobody likes his classes, and nobody likes all these things. And then the poor little flogworms are like dead because they got overfed. And all of these things, and I'm just like, okay.
He's having a bad week.
Yeah. And then you get the experience of Hagrid while he's trying to figure all these things out. He's like, I don't want to do anything wrong again and have to go back to Azkaban, because
that was terrible.
His experience was like it's a traumatic experience. And in all reality, prison really is like that. It's a traumatic experience. And if you go, like, you are a different person when you come out.
Yeah.
And he is very much like that. He's like, I don't want to do anything illegal because I don't want to get in trouble.
Let's not do that again.
So it's just like, poor Hagrid. Like, he's trying to survive, but he's also trying not to get fired. And Malfoy is a jackwagon, and I hate him.
Which one? Yes. Okay.
Both. Okay. Christmas at Hogwarts. Mrs. Weasley.
The broom is not from the Dursleys. LOL.
I did say I liked that. Yep. But I love
Who
that.
apparently sent him nothing this year, by the way.
Yep. We didn't hear anything about them.
He got like what? A nickel last year?
Yeah, he got some coins and like a paper clip or something. Like whatever it was inside of it. I don't think it was paper clip, but it was something. But he did get another sweatshirt.
Of course.
He got lots of food from Mrs. Weasley, which is cool.
Course.
But where'd the firebolt come from? Dun dun dun.
Okay. How mad at Hermione were you?
Okay, I'm pissed, but we're not there yet.
Okay, sorry.
That's at the very, very, very end of the chapter.
First, we have this awkward dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
McGonagall's a jerk.
But like, so I'm just so confused about that dinner because like Lupin's not there.
He's sick again.
Trelawney decides to show up, and then there's the whole 13 thing, and Ron and Harry are the first to leave the table.
Bum, bum, bum.
But like they don't know which one stood up first. They both stood up at the same time. Okay, so there's no axe murderer in the hallway. Like McGonagall is just chopping heads with Trelawney. Like she's just like
jerk to her. I was like, okay, ooh, McGonagall. This
like,
is not.
Why are we being like this? There's obviously tension there. We already knew that from the class.
Your pretty side, yeah.
But at the same time, where's Lupin? Why is he sick? Dumbledore is the one that told Snape to make the potion for him. Snape is obviously doing something stupid with the potion to Lupin, probably. And that's why Lupin is so sick. But then we find out that Lupin wasn't even in the hospital.
He's not in my count.
And, like, where was he? Like, where did he go? Is he okay? Is he okay now? I know, right? It's just like, okay, there's so
He's
many
Buckbeak.
questions.
He transforms into Buckbeak.
Right. Well, and then speaking of transforming, like Crookshanks, like going back from the dinner at that point, everybody goes upstairs and Crookshanks goes into the boys' room. No, this is before dinner.
That's before dinner, yeah. And
Crookshanks is a psychotic cat, and
all cats are.
not River, not our friend River.
We love you, River.
Right? But like, what's up with Crookshanks? Like, and I don't blame Ron for trying to kick the dang thing. Like, sorry, but that's, yeah.
Not at all.
I would have totally done that. But like, the sneakoscope, what's going on with that?
Ballistic.
Yeah.
Fell
with
out of the sock.
Crookshanks. Something's up with that. I think he is a person stuck in the cat and he's trying to do something and I don't know what.
McGonagall's boyfriend.
Probably.
Is Crookshanks.
But then, so then we have the dinner, 13 people at the table, all that stuff. Cool. Hermione stays and freaking tells McGonagall. Like, what the hell? What the hell? What is wrong with Hermione? Sorry,
Okay.
Zenobia, but I am pissed at your girl.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna back
I
this
literally
train up.
just summed up an entire chapter in like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna back this train up just
Okay, cool.
a little bit.
Let's do this.
That yes, McGonagall's a jerk. I don't know what's going on there. Trelawney, okay. Snape is making potions at Dumbledore's direction. Interesting. And what is going on?
Dumbledore knows something about
Dumbledore
Lupin.
knows something. I think Snape now knows also.
I think so too,
Whether or
because
not
he's been the one having to make the potion.
He knew previously, or Dumbledore told him, whatever. Okay, Hermione, you let the Marauders map slide. I'll give you that. You let Harry being in Hogsmeade slide. You're not tattling any of these things that have clearly made you uncomfortable.
Right.
Okay, maybe telling about the broom is not the worst thing, but good God, let the boys know first.
Right?
Don't sneak on them like that. I don't
With
like
a
that.
book upside down and pretending like you're not even the one in trouble. Like,
Turning
you
bright
didn't do
red.
it.
Like, that was my
Come
only thing. I was
on.
like, Hermione, just tell them what you're going to do.
Right.
Like, instead, ask the boys to stick around also and talk to McGonagall and say, hey, Harry, is there something you want to tell her? And maybe we should all talk about this because I have concerns.
Right. Or bring up those concerns. She hasn't really done that. Like, she kind of did at the very beginning when she
gets
first saw
quiet.
it. But she gets quiet because
She gets quiet.
in this is a telltale sign with Hermione. She gets quiet when she has an issue with something. She's not sure what to do. She gets flustered. But like in this situation, like he is not even going to get the dang thing back for a while. Like it's this I don't know. It's just going to make more drama between Ron and Hermione at this point. And now Harry. And then Harry's already got a bunch of crap going on. Like, this is not helpful.
This was not the way to do it.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
It was very, in a lot of ways, selfish. I think she was thinking about whatever she like herself in a way and what she thinks is best. And Hermione doesn't know what's best all the time.
I think she thought she was doing the right thing to keep Harry safe. I think she thinks she's acting on his best interest.
She's not his mom.
And also stabbing him in the back and going behind his back is not cool. Like, just ask him to stick around too and talk to McGonagall.
Right.
Tell him what you're going to do. Give him a chance to tell
Like,
McGonagall first.
Bring it up with the guys first.
Yeah.
Have the conversation. If they still have a problem or they're really being jerks about it, cool.
Fine.
But at that point, at least you told them how you feel.
Although I do also wonder, once school had started back up again, and say the first Quidditch match had come, or all the kids are back in the dorm, somebody's going to see it. Somebody's going to ask where it came from. McGonagall's going to find out eventually. Dumbledore's going to find out eventually that we have this broom that came from Lord only knows where.
Right.
Potentially a mass murderer. Like, maybe it's not a terrible thing to have said it now instead in front of everybody else, and now he will have it back in time for the next Quidditch match. He will.
Okay.
McGonagall will make sure of it. She doesn't want to lose either.
Right.
So having him back in time for the next Quidditch match versus risk not.
Right. I don't know.
She did not do it the right way.
No.
But I think she had the right intentions.
Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
I don't know.
In
I think my
fairness,
Slytherin is showing, but
Harry has gotten repeatedly screwed over at Quidditch.
yeah.
And none of the professors did a damn thing.
Yeah.
Like, we've had cursed brooms, we've had cursed bludgers, we've had everything else going on.
Yeah. I know, but it's still, I don't know. I think if this was my set of friends, I would have a very hard time being friends still, just because
I'd be pissed.
of the way that it's kind of
The way
unfolding.
that she did it.
Well, and it's not just with the firebolt. It's like literally everything leading up to it. She's been a weird person this year. And I think
I'm still shocked she didn't tell anybody about the map.
I am too.
I'm proud of her for that one.
Yep, I am shocked about that. But maybe she will later, or maybe she just hasn't fully decided if she should. But yeah, okay.
All right, so next week. Oh, we've talked long enough on this one.
Hopefully, I can like Hermione next week. Probably not.
Give it a few more chapters. Chapter 21, you'll like Hermione again.
Perfect. 10 more chapters.
Literally, the name of that chapter is Hermione's Secret.
That's funny.
So, but next week, we're not there yet. 12 is the Patronus, if I can say Patronus. And then 13 is Gryffindor versus Ravenclaw.
Woohoo! I mean, Ravenclaw beat out Hufflepuff, so woohoo.
They still have a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Patronus, who's Patronus? What are we talking about?
Right.
Does Harry finally get to see his? Does Hermione finally get to see hers?
I don't know.
Does Lupin figure out his isn't a, I don't know, a crystal ball or a balloon or whatever the heck the orb was? Who's Patronus? What's happening? Dun, dun, dun.
Right. Okay. Well, we will read on chapters 12 and 13 and
Christina will
see
get
what
fired up
happens.
next week.
I'm sure I will. I got fired up with this one. So,
This just
yeah.
drives you nuts because you can't keep reading. Like, if
I
you
know.
could just blow through this, you'd be like, oh, thank you.
Right. I'd
But you're just
probably understand a little more. Yeah. Probably wouldn't be as pissy about people. But
like
my
her
biggest concern is like Lupin right now. Like, I just don't get it. And
Hey,
Hermione. But
He's no Lockhart.
thank God. And he at least cares about Harry. So,
All the kids. He's a good Dada teacher.
yeah. He is. He's
For
cool.
once.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. Well, we will see you guys next time.
sorry for running over.
See you later. Thanks for joining us for this episode. If you had fun, please follow, download, and review this podcast on your preferred listening platform.
If you're ready for the next chapter, join the spoiler-free conversation on our Facebook group. Search You Haven't Read What? The podcast.
Or on Instagram and YouTube for exclusive videos and behind-the-scenes content. Have a great week.
And we'll catch you on the next page.